In this video, I would simplify string interpolation in JavaScript. What is interpolation? Interpolation is the process of embedding or inserting something into another thing. Now, how does this apply to JavaScript strings? Let's see an example. So here I have a variable called YouTube name, which has the value, a string of Deeecode. And then I have this string variable here, which says my YouTube name is, and I like it. Now what we want to do here is that we want to insert the value of this variable, which is Deeecode, into this point here. That means we want to interpolate it into this point here. Now how do we do this? We can do this with string interpolation, but before we look at string interpolation, let's see how we would do it without string interpolation. So in this case we can use string concatenation, and this is how we would approach it. So I'm going to comment this. With string concatenation, would have the string variable, then would have the first part of the string, which is my YouTube name is, and then we'll give a space. We use the plus sign, which means we want to concatenate it with something else, and then we'd have the YouTube name variable, and then we'd have the plus sign again, and then we'd have the last part of the string, which is going to be space, and I like it. So this is what we have using string concatenation. Now if I try to console log this string and I run this file here, you see we have my YouTube name is, then we concatenated it with the value of the YouTube name variable, which is Deeecode. So here we have Deeecode, and then we have the other part of the string, which is and I like it. So we can use string concatenation to achieve what we want, but we can actually improve this by using string interpolation. Now how do you create string interpolations with JavaScript? You do that using template literals, and template literals are strings which are created with backticks. Now template literals have other functions, but in this video we're just going to look at how to use template literals to create string interpolations. So coming back here, I'm going to comment this line, and then I have the string variable. Now because we want to interpolate a variable into this string, I'm going to use backticks, which is the template literal, and then I have my YouTube name is. Now for what we want to insert or interpolate into this string, that's going to be an expression. So I'm going to have a $sign followed by an open and close curly bracket, and I'll come back to the curly bracket in a minute, but let's continue with our string and I like it. Now with this $sign and curly brackets, we are going to add an expression between the brackets, and the value of that expression would replace this whole line. So what expression do we want to add here? We can just add the YouTube name variable expression like this. So we have my YouTube name is, then we have this whole expression which is going to be evaluated, and that value is going to replace this part of the string here, which is the interpolation, and then we have and I like it. So let's come back here and run this file. You see everything works. My YouTube name is Deeecode. Deeecode is the value of this expression here, and then we have and I like it. Now you can put any kind of expression here. Here we use a variable name, but you can also do something like 10 plus 10. 10 plus 10 is an expression which would produce a value. So if I come here now and I run this, you see we have my YouTube name is 20, and where is 20 coming from? 20 is coming from the value that is produced from this expression 10 plus 10. And you can interpolate expressions at different parts of a string. For example, we can come to the beginning here and say my age is, and then we have the $sign, open and close curly brackets, and we're going to have maybe 2023 minus 1920, which is a subtraction expression. And then here I'm just going to put this back to YouTube name. So if I come here now and I run this, you see we have my age is 103, which is a value that is coming from this expression 2023 minus 1920, and then it says YouTube name is Deeecode, which you can see here. YouTube name is Deeecode. So this is how you interpolate expressions into a string. But note, if I remove this $sign, for example, this template literal is going to interpret this as a normal string. Let's try this out and see. If I run this, you see it says my age is open curly bracket 2023 minus 1920 closing curly bracket. So you have to put the $sign to inform the template literal that this is an expression that I want to interpolate into this string. If you don't put the $sign, it's going to interpret it as a normal string. Now, like I said, you can use any kind of expression. So you can even use a function call between these curly brackets. Let's say I have a function called subtract, which takes two arguments. I'll use parameter num1 and num2, and then this function would return num1 minus minus num2. So I can come here, instead of having this, I can say subtract, which is a function call, and I'm calling this function with two arguments. The first argument is 2023 and the second argument is 1920. That's not when I was born, by the way. If I come here and I run this, you see again we get my age is 103, which is a value that comes from calling subtract with this argument. And then we still have YouTube name is Deeecode, and I like it, and Deeecode is coming from the YouTube name variable expression. So you can use any kind of JavaScript expression between the curly brackets, and that would be interpolated into your string at the particular section where you use the $sign and the curly brackets. Now, like I said, template literals have other functions in JavaScript, and we'll probably look at that in a separate video, but this is how to use template literals for string interpolations in JavaScript, which, as you can see, is a more simpler way of combining strings and expressions together compared to string concatenation. I hope you learned from this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, share with others, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more simplified videos on JavaScript like this.